Hello, welcome to another video on my channel. Thanks a lot for watching me. Well, I'm so happy that my previous videos have been helping many people. It's clear from the emails also. Today, the topic is shadowing. Shadowing is one of the best methods of helping you to overcome your fear. So please pay attention to the content. Okay, so shadowing is a process that helps you to improve your intonation and pronunciation and also your speaking skills. Like you have the script in front of you. When you have the script in front of you, it will be easier for you to read aloud. But it's not just reading, it's not just imitating also. It is one of the effective tips, but I can see many people using it in the wrong way also. Remember, it's not just reading. Because reading can be done if you have a book in front of you, if you have a script in front of you, right? You can read aloud. You can also improve your intonation and pronunciation. I've done more than 3 videos on reading and intonation also. But here, shadowing is a method where you have the script, you listen, you repeat. So there is some imitation. Of course, you can improve your pronunciation only through imitation. You don't have to completely absorb the style, but you can definitely imitate so that your intonation and pronunciation gets better. So what you're going to do is you will be repeating the sentences first. So I have some casual sentences with me. I took these sentences from a workbook. Okay, so you just repeat these sentences after me, and after completing this, you can make use of a paragraph from a newspaper, an article, or a book. We'll be doing that in the future. I thought of not giving everything through one video where you may feel a bit overwhelmed also. So let's begin with some simple sentences that we use in our daily conversation. Actually, shadowing helps better when you have a comprehension passage, when you have a continuous context, when you have a lot of sentences connected with each other in terms of ideas, in terms of thoughts and the context. But here, remember, I have taken only sentences. This is to just give you an idea. So what you have to do is, you just listen to my pronunciation. You don't have to even copy my style and the intonation. Suppose there is a question, it will go up. Okay, so I have a small sprain on my left wrist. That's why I've put this. I'll be sharing about this through another video. In case you're wondering what you're doing with your hand, I just thought of mentioning this. Anyway, so I have sentences here. So you will get used to this method of shadowing. Okay, but you can begin this way. So suppose you are working on your speaking skills and you want to work on your intonation, just begin this way and then go to the context, contextual comprehensive reading. The first one, so I will put up the sentence on the screen. I'll give you time also to repeat. So you are going to pay attention to what? Pay attention to pronunciation and intonation. These are the 2 things that we are more concerned about. Then you can use this in your conversation as well. So I have some sentences here. Shall we begin? How many books do you have? Okay, so if you pay attention, you have to say like this: how many books do you have? It's not how many books do you have. When you write it, it's like that. When you learn it also, it is do you have. But here, listen to me again and you can try again. How many books do you have? So suppose you're finding it difficult, you can split. How many books do you have? Do you have? Okay. So I hope you know the technical aspect of this. I know there are a lot of creators uploading videos on this. The way in which you can use the schwa sound, and also the way you have the loop over the words. Some words will be pronounced this way. It's not do, it's do. So here it's not exactly pronunciation. It's the way in which you unfold your sentences in terms of intonation. So let's take it again. How many books do you have? I hope you got it right. The next one. So pay attention to these aspects, okay? So the answer is I have 5 books. I have 5 books. So it's okay even if you say I have 5 books. It depends on the situation also sometimes. And suppose somebody is asking you to repeat the answer, you have to say I have 5 books. Sometimes we say like that, right? Or suppose it is just a casual statement, I have 5 books. I have 5 books. So there the tone can be different. You can try it in different ways. So I'm just giving you the generalized intonation with reference to the question. I have 5 books. I hope you got it right. Okay, the next one. Do you have a pet dog? So here, what you have to be careful about, do you have a pet dog? Do you have a pet dog? Just try repeating it, okay? You don't have to get everything correct, but I'm giving you a chance again. Do you have a pet dog? Yeah, good. So you just have to go with the rise towards the end of the sentence. Do you have a pet dog? Do you have that? Okay? And the answer is no, I have a pet cat. No, I have a pet cat. So it's not about the speed, but no, I have a pet cat. It depends on the context, right? So just this actually helps you with some of the words when they're used in sentences. When you write it separately, have you noticed it is do, you, have, but in sentences, some of the beginners and intermediate learners also do not know, and they just walk up and down thinking that their pronunciation is wrong, they have mother tongue interference. All the excuses come in. Of course, these aspects are there. But what can be done now? We can only work on it, right? And the first thing that you have to get rid of is ignorance. When I say ignorance, it's not about your ignorance. I'm speaking about filtering. There are many people who mislead you. I know that. There are a lot of people who just find pleasure in misleading others. So it's your wisdom, it's your willingness, and also it's your approach to learning that will help you to filter. Are you ready for the next one? Okay. Can you cook pasta? Can you cook pasta? Yes. Yes, I can cook. So there you have some changes in your intonation. Remember, it's not just the intonation. Look at every word. Yes, it's not S. S is this, but it's yes, I. So take it separately. Can. We never say I can able to cook. This is one random error that I come across among intermediate and even advanced learners. So when you read such sentences, one advantage is that you will get an access to some of the usages. See, most of the time we think that we know everything. I mean, we are familiar with these statements because we get to hear them at our workplace or through different audios and videos, right? And there are people who read a lot of articles also. So newspapers and all these articles are published based on general statistics and analytics. But there are a lot of things that are different from that also. For that, you need some wisdom and knowledge to filter. Okay, so that's over. The next one, where is the library? Where is the library? Okay, so here is the library. So there are people who find it difficult to pronounce this word also. Some people say ease, which is wrong. Ease is this. And this is, right? So that is what you have to pay attention to in order to get the sentences right. So it's not just intonation. So you may think I have to just go fast. No. You just repeat. Listen to me and just repeat it. But what you have to pay attention to? You have to pay attention to pronunciation and the intonation. At the same time, if you have some words that's troubling you, you can write it down and then repeat it. So suppose the word is library that's troubling you. Take that word, pull that word out, make another sentence with that. Because if you pronounce it separately, you'll be very conscious, you will get it right. Yeah, so the library is across the street. Or I have a mini library at home. So go slow first. I have a mini library at home. I have 100 books in my library. So I'm just giving you some statements to help you make these sentences. Okay, yes, I have a library at home. Do you have a library? So here the question is, where is the library? So you have the answer here. The library is next to the school. So here you have preposition also. The library is next to the school. Next to the library is next to the school. Right. So to the, okay, do you. All these are some of the places where you have to go a bit fast and sometimes swallow certain sounds, because when you use it individually, you say do you, where you, have, I, you, like that. But when you use it in sentences, you have to just leap. It's a short leap that you take. I'll give you the technical aspects of this. It's there in the description. Now, there'll be trainers listening to me, but I don't want to inundate the learners with all these words. Right? So, when you read the sentences, when you try out these sentences, remember you have to pay attention to the aspects that I mentioned in the beginning. So after this, you have the last sentence. What do you do on weekends? What do you do on weekends? So this is something that we ask everybody. What do you do on weekends? How was the weekend? So here the answer is, I go to the park on weekends. I go to the park on weekends. So here the answer is, I go to the park on weekends. So it's not about the speed, go slower. I go to the park on weekends. So it's more about how you articulate those words. It should be clear, but at the same time, in the English language, you have to take these short leaps. So leap doesn't mean that you have to go fast and ensure that the listener do not understand. No, that's not the purpose. Okay, some words are not completely articulated. I mean, here and there you have the hidden sounds, the silent sounds are there. For example, if you take this word subtle, you have the silent sound there. Subtle, not subtle, right? For example, if you take the word comb, it's not comb, tomb, it's tomb, comb, like that. Similarly, when you use some of the words in the sentences, you have, yes, this is the technical aspect. You can read it. You can read more about this. And this is not about high advanced vocabulary and flamboyant words. I'm trying to use medium to simple words in my videos so that beginners will also benefit from this. Now, what you're supposed to do next, you're going to find a passage from a newspaper or a book. Okay, take a very short passage. Make sure that the language is simple. Make sure that there are some questions there. Even if it has got some exclamation mark or some places where you can use these surprise elements, where you're astonished, surprised, shocked, that'll also be great. You can read that passage first aloud using these techniques, because I'm going to do another video with passage, with a short passage. I'll be taking a passage that I have written from my book. I think that will be interesting, right? Right? So we'll be discussing about that also. So you just do this much. Suppose it's not working out, you write your own sentences. I know very well that some of you are great with writing. So you can do that much. So I hope this video helps you. I'm again repeating, stay away from ignorance. Even as a trainer, I come across a lot of people who are ignorant. The only thing we can do is we can try helping them out in the first 3 stages. But after that, if they still choose to be ignorant, it is their preference and choice, right? So more than your ignorance, when you're ignorant, you will of course upgrade, upskill yourself, and you will read and get to know more about it, just like me. I'm sure about that. But otherwise, when it comes to other people, they just love being ignorant. So when it's like that, don't get misled. Okay, the second thing is try this out. As I mentioned earlier also, these are separate sentences. And then some answers are also there just to help you out with the tone, with the intonation. But the best way is to choose a short paragraph, something that is of your level, something that you can really understand, something that's digestible to you. And then practice it. And after that, you can upgrade yourself. Happy learning.